So in a few minutes, we will continue here with our panel on education and sustainability. Now we have a matching EdTale. The German Ministry of Education came up with this online interactive format to strengthen students, to strengthen also teachers, and it's about virtual characters with main needs. One of the main virtual characters is Lena. She's a Fridays for Future activist, skilled crafts person, and after finishing school, she doesn't really know which way is the best for her.
Together, we redefine learning. The challenges and chances of today's world of digital education are very diverse. What we need now are innovative ideas and projects that point the way to our future of education. EdTales are an interactive storytelling format created by the Federal Ministry of Education and Research. It illustrates the variety of digital means and tools for actors in higher education. EdTales presents 4 very different characters and adventures that aim to inspire you to think digital education even further. Let's meet Lena, a Fridays for Future activist and skilled craftsperson. She and her friends successfully finished school and are planning their next steps. But Lena is at a loss. She doesn't know which path to take. Although she's absolutely certain that sustainability needs to be an essential part of her life, she also has a knack for crafts. Yet now she's wondering if she can manage to combine both worlds. A world of opportunities opens up in front of Lena. She documents and shares her experiences on social media, and she realizes that many young people cannot easily decide on a career path. Lena reflects on all her experiences and decides what her next career step will be. The dual study program Sustainable Engineering. The program is very broad, a combination of subjects like physics and material science, hardware and software development at a vocational university. She's really happy with her training company, an agency that develops sustainable digital product landscapes, the perfect fit for Lena. After finishing her studies, she's now a project manager in her former training company. However, Lena has many more innovative ideas of her own to foster sustainability in electronics, but starting a business on her own seemed risky right after graduation. But her dream is still to become her own boss. What are your ideas for fostering sustainability entrepreneurs during or right after university?
Yes, that was Lena, interested in sustainability and further education. And what a big surprise, you won't believe what our next panel is about. Yeah, education always makes the difference, but it's obviously possible to survive without. Just take a look at the White House. But we cannot survive if we don't follow a certain principle of action, and this principle is called sustainability. That's what the next panel is about, education and sustainability. Luise Heidenreich is the moderator. For a long time, Luise successfully working in the international education and learning sector. She's the co-head of education and learning at EIT Climate-KIC, who are co-initiators of DigiEduHack this year. Luise, have a good discussion with your guests, and please take over now.
Thank you, Mitri, and welcome to our session on the role of digital and green skills in delivering systems innovation. I'm very happy to moderate and introduce this panel today. With me, I have our CEO, Kirsten Dunlop. I have Waldo Soto, one of our partners with us, and Jose Saldana from the Impact Hub in Hamburg. My name is Luise Heidenreich. As Mitri said, I'm the co-head of education and learning at EIT Climate-KIC and the program lead for the Young Innovators program. And Climate-KIC is really proud to work with the European Commission's DG Education, Youth, Sport and Culture to support 7 digital education hackathons this year. Climate-KIC is a knowledge and innovation community whose purpose is to tackle climate change through innovation. And we are Europe's largest public-private partnership with this purpose, a growing pan-European community of diverse organizations united by a commitment to direct the power of creativity and human ingenuity at the climate change challenge. So we bring together large and small companies, scientific institutions and universities, city authorities and other public bodies, as well as NGOs, startups, artists, and students. So in Climate-KIC, we really recognize the importance of learning, societal innovation, and citizen engagement in delivering the Green Deal and in achieving a climate-neutral continent by 2050. In our 10 years of experience, we have learned that investing in citizens to create isolated solutions can only lead to a temporary local impact. Therefore, we shifted towards a systems innovation approach where citizens and communities can act within large and orchestrated transformations. We believe in order for citizen action and specifically also young citizen action to be effective, people need to be equipped with future-proof skills as early as possible. This is often not the case, and this capability gap means that many efforts start with good intentions but achieve insufficient outcomes. So it's essential that we create opportunities for new skills development to take place in traditional education institutions, as well as outside of this sphere, in and with communities where these skills are needed most. This is why we run several challenge-led and experiential programs, tackling the capability gap where and how it's most effective. Young Innovators, for example, works with educators, governments, companies, artists, schools, and teachers to equip the Fridays for Future generation, so 12 to 18 years olds, with the skills to go beyond protesting and have an impact without having to leave the classroom. We work with 18 to 35 years olds, change makers, through our program, The Journey, within the university context as well as in local communities. Finally, in our programs Climathon and also Young Climathon, we're engaging with cities to activate citizens in developing solutions specifically targeted at local challenges. So in our various programs, we're following a transformational and experiential learning approach where young people build knowledge, skills, but also feel empowered by really tapping into their creative and tech-savvy potential and experience a personal transformation necessary for lasting change. There is increasing recognition of the need for systemic change and innovation in all forms and levels of education if we are to effectively address and aid the delivery of the European Green Deal and the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So students and young people in higher professional and vocational education need to be equipped with the competencies and skills to navigate through the complexity of our current time, to deliver climate action and innovation that will positively impact on the society of tomorrow. However, currently there is no single competency framework which responds to the European Commission's policy objectives on sustainability and education and which meets the need for change and innovation. To address this, any future strategy needs to complement and extend those frameworks already on the market on digital and entrepreneurial competencies like DigComp, EntreComp, but with a clear and specific focus on climate innovation in education. We are currently developing and working on a framework of experimental learning outcomes with a focus on participatory, democratic decision-making and collaborative ways of working. And we are developing a model that underlines the importance of experimenting, teaching and learning as a tool for empowering change makers, strengthening their capacity for mobilizing others for informing collective action. This model for change needs to also consider how to engage educators in higher education alongside wider stakeholder actors from government, industry, and society in supporting local ecosystems and embracing interconnectedness with a view to meeting these global challenges. As the lead of the Young Innovators program, I'm particularly happy to see some of our education partners hosting challenges today that might directly feed back into our program design. So one of our Young Innovators partners in the Netherlands, Stichting Technotrend, is hosting 3 DigiEduHacks today, focusing on enhancing the quality of secondary education through digital innovations by means of co-creation between students, teachers, and external parties. Our partner in Latin America, Circular Influence, is running a hack on imagining the future of EU and Mercosur towards carbon-free students' mobility, e-collaboration, and networking across universities in these 2 continents. And as I said, I'm specifically pleased to have 3 colleagues joining me on the main stage today. So Kirsten Dunlop, our CEO, who's really passionate about innovation and learning, and who introduced systems innovation and a portfolio approach to Climate-KIC and its community of partners and collaborators. I will start with you, Kirsten. So Kirsten, in your opinion, what is the role of digital and green skills playing in delivering systems innovation, and what competencies would be needed for this?
Thank you very much. Can I just check that you can hear me okay? Fine? Okay. So systems innovation means 3 things. It means, first of all, understanding, thinking and seeing systems, thinking in systems. It means understanding complexity, and it means radical collaborations. And let me just explain what I mean by each of those things. Thinking in systems is not something that conventional education necessarily prepares people for at the moment. It's one of the things that we are working on at EIT Climate-KIC from primary school onwards. It does mean opening up a set of skills, practices, and mindsets to think in terms of cause and effect, in terms of relationships, in terms of dynamics, as well as states. So really thinking in stocks and flows, and very, very importantly, constantly paying attention to context. That's absolutely essential. When it comes to climate change, and the reason why we are making such a focus on systems, climate change and climate action means realizing the importance of and engaging with extremely complex systems, complex adaptive systems, starting with, most importantly, humans. Humans, the way we live, the way we believe, the way we breathe, the way we do things, and a whole set of cultures, identities, practices, economies that are causing challenge and difficulty into our own possibility of survival, and that will need to change and change urgently. In addition, of course, a lot of what we need to change is equally complex, whether it's our impact on natural systems or the way in which we understand, use, and shape materials. So that really means understanding complexity, which means understanding uncertainty and unpredictability, and being willing to engage with unpredictability and engage with the right kinds of tools and mindsets that are needed for complex adaptive systems that are very different to the ways in which we have often taught ourselves to engage with the world. It requires us to accept that we can work effectively more by experimenting, by sensing and responding, by probing, by adapting very fast, by not expecting to control outcomes, plan for them, engineer them, but work in a different way. And of course, this is often about combining some of the skills that where we can apply planned outcomes and well-engineered solutions, but understanding that we're engaging or we're inserting those solutions into complex social change spaces where we need very different mindsets. And the last element is radical collaboration, where we know that one of the greatest challenges we face is to pull together a very, very diverse range of actors to find solutions that are fit for purpose, and accept that we need to engage with and embrace the entire spectrum of human beliefs, of concerns, of social beliefs, political beliefs and concerns. And we need to do so fast and in ways that can create common ground and shared meaning and shared purpose to drive ourselves forward with a very different way of thinking and living. So digital technology gives us, working on climate change, climate action, an enormous range of solutions and possibilities to understand and see systems, to probe and test for solutions, to observe, to track and trace and look at provenance and look at the outcomes of things, to use transparency, to engage with complex dynamics and complex change dynamics and start to learn in real time, and to start to change our own behaviors, whether individually or collectively, in real time, as well as, even more importantly, begin to design differently. start to design our materials differently, our processes, our logistics, our ways of doing things, our ways of planning and financing things. So by bringing digital technology together with ecology and with sustainability, we can ask a whole different set of design questions. We can ask a very different set of execution questions and choices, and we can design for a really different kind of demand. We can start to change what we expect and what we ask from ourselves and the way in which we live and work. And that means we can also use that marriage of digital technology and ecology and sustainability to start to pay attention to consequences and the awareness of consequences of choices. If I bring that back to the task at hand and this fantastic digital education hack, what are some of the competencies, the skills, the mindsets that are needed to act in that world, to operate in that world, to build businesses in that world, to think about future jobs or think about choices, life choices, very much according to the cartoon it was earlier. I would say there are three things I'd pull out. One of them is in the category of knowledge, and that has to do what I would call for the most important knowledges and knowledge of is philosophy, ethics, epistemology, ways of knowing and ways of being. Knowledge of complex system, of complexity itself, what we understand about it, what we're learning about it, knowledge of natural systems, and knowledge of humans, anthropology. Philosophy, anthropology, and learning about natural systems would be some of the most important knowledges you could possibly build. Skills, curiosity, deep listening, design and art, the elements that we are missing from our STEM-focused approaches to climate action that we need to braid back in order to understand how to help ourselves change and to bring some of those deep listening and curiosity skills to the edge technologies we need to use. So, for example, quantum would be one of them, quantum physics, quantum technology would be some of the most urgently important needed advances because apart from anything else, they help us shift our mindsets around possibility. And in terms of mindsets, most important from our perspective, a growth mindset, a courage, a willingness to embrace endless possibility and to come at challenge with a sense of abundance and courage to act in a context of ambiguity. Those are probably the most important mindsets we can possibly build. And in the context of radical collaborations, a deeply curious tolerance for difference and a curiosity about how difference can offer a set of opportunities for us to design differently as we go forward. If these kinds of education hackathons help us embed some of those core foundational skills in the way in we use digital learning, digital education, digital technologies more broadly, and bring them together with sustainability and ecology and biodiversity challenges, I think we have a real hope. Thank you, Luise.
Thanks a lot, Kirsten, for this inspiring contribution and talk. My next guest, our partner, who is joining us from Berlin today is Waldo Soto from 2811. He's a partner in the Young Innovators program and also organizer of the Young Climathon and the Climathon in Chile in 2019 and 2020. Waldo will be talking about how to link green skills to prepare the young generation on green skills and how to localize efforts and democratize skills formation. Waldo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Luise. Thank you, Climate-KIC, also for the invitation. What I want to share with you from 2011, our social change platform, are a bit of some learnings we got with the last in the last few months under this crisis we are all facing, but also some questions. And maybe that's going to be maybe the most interesting part, like the question we have for sharing with you today. So Waldo Soto from the Social Change Platform 2811. 2811 is a social enterprise based in Germany, Chile, and Colombia. It's 2811 because the 28th of November of 2015, Chile got technically unsustainable. We could say, in a way, that Chile reached that day the tipping point of unsustainability. And since that specific day and month got just unsustainable after that. Social change happens in different levels, but our choice is igniting local actors, local individuals, and local communities for social and systemic change. Just to maybe help you to take a look to what we are doing, I would like to share with you a short clip of some of the activities of the last 2 years, and this way I can show you better what is 2011 about. Thank you. Yeah, there you can see a bit of our work. This amazing work has been done by more than 15 collaborators we have around different countries. 2011, as I said, is also based in Colombia, and there we have a really, really beautiful and strong team working there, also here in Berlin. Today also, at this just some minutes ago, we are opening a new project in Bogota. We are launching the Climathon Bogota. Just opened the doors for the participants 15 minutes ago. So we are really happy with that. And the last week, my hometown in Chile, also central south of Chile, they accepted also to run the Climathon there. It's a really, really poor area, really dependent on the food production. And then we are really happy of igniting a bit system innovation also in the central south of Chile. So we are also today running 2 different Climathons, and we are really happy also to join in those events also with this event here. We launched the last week also a Climate Action Academy with 200 teachers from Colombia and Chile to ignite system innovation and installing green skills among the students in Colombia and Chile. We are doing this together again with different universities, the leading universities in a way in Colombia and Chile on climate change research. Just, I would like to maybe highlight a bit more 2 or 3 maybe of our projects, and also what we learned in the last few months. Running a young Climathon and also a summer camp on climate action, also in Hofheim, in Frankfurt, we learned how it's totally possible to ignite system innovation in kids or young people from 12 until 17. It's totally possible. They are really, really well prepared today with the different social movements they are involved. They present the solutions. Kids of 12 years old, they present the solutions to mayors, to the city council, solutions on solar energy. So that was really magic. We're really happy with that, with the results of the programs we have for young generations, young people. But also in Colombia, and also you saw a bit of that in the video, we launched the Climate Labs. Those are experimental spaces for higher education institutions where we want to push the borders of universities in different countries of the world to ignite system innovation for climate action in some cities of those countries. We are doing this with 10 universities in Latin America, 3 universities here in Europe. But also, and this is a really, really beautiful project, quite experimental also for us, we opened a water management academy just 3 weeks ago together with the ADE and Siegen University. We opened a water management academy to upskill a bit the capacities of the DAD alumni so they can cope better with the online world they have to work today. And at the same time, solve really concrete issues as the challenge we have for this community from the ADE to solve the water access issue of the Usambara Mountains in the coast of Tanzania. We strongly believe that local changes can take us to big scale changes. Maybe Chile reached the tipping point of sustainability, but what is not reached still are the individual tipping points of millions of people that face local challenges that block them from the right to a more joyful, playful, safe, and secure life on this planet. It doesn't mean, of course, that we shouldn't keep pressuring governments and big companies to improve their capacity to act more, to act better. But we cannot wait for them to act and look by as local communities are being deprived from quality of life, a safe future, and a healthy environment. At the same time, we don't know what will happen with the trajectory of the Earth temperature. But what we know is that we can change local trajectories. We can change individual and local communities' trajectories of climate injustice, inequality, and environmental damage. And if we want to change those trajectories and put them on a positive path, then skills sharing, upskilling for green skills and also for digital skills, participation, radical collaboration across national borders is needed and is the key role to play today. Thank you.
Thank you, Waldo, for this also very emotional contribution here. I am turning to our next guest and speaker on this session, José Saldana, who's the co-founder of the Impact Hub in Hamburg and the organizer of all German Climathons happening at the moment, actually. He will present the Climathon concept and how the Climathon is fostering digital skills and digital learning. José, over to you.
Thank you so much, and thank you also, Kirsten and Waldo, for the impulses. I will try to keep it rather short because I have not prepared much, I have to say, but also my attention is a bit divided. I'm trying to be present here, but as Luise said, we are just now at 3 kicking off the Climathon in Germany. And this is the first time that we are organizing the Climathon with the 7 impact hubs in Germany and on a virtual context. So we are all very, very excited. And it's this feeling of, the minutes before kickoff. And actually, if I look at the clock, it already been kicked off. Yeah. So maybe just taking one step back, I'm as mentioned, I'm one of the co-founders of Impact Hub Hamburg. We are part of a global network that I would say is the largest global network of impact entrepreneurs. We share a common vision, which is basically that we would like to see a world where both businesses and profit are put at the service of people and the planet. Right, which sounds very logical, right? But at the end of the day, we don't see that the current economy, how it has been functioning in the last 150 years, has reflected those principles. So with this vision in mind, in Hamburg now we have 7 impact hubs, and we have decided to join forces to organize this Climathon. And just shortly, what does a Climathon mean? So basically, it's a 24-hour hackathon focused on solving challenges related to climate. Yeah. So in this case, this year we have put together more than 20 partners, which means like around 20 challenges. We have 600 participants signed up, and we have received the support of more than 100 coaches that will support those teams during the whole Climathon. So what we see, we were talking about outputs and outcomes. I mean, what we want is to provide the platform to those students or young professionals or more senior professionals, so they have the chance to move from, I think like Luise and Kirsten, you mentioned, moving from protesting, let's say on the Fridays for Future movement, to give them the platform so they can also build solutions to target those challenges. So this is what we aim mainly with the Climathon. And ideally, we will have, let's say, from idea to initiative level of maturity, maybe some prototypes that could be tested by tomorrow. And the idea is that after the Climathon, we don't stop here, that we support those initiatives to mature also in the upcoming months, with the overall objective of transforming either to ideas that move into the market as solutions or existing solutions that they scale. Yeah. So another, let's say, angle from the Climathon, what is the link then between the climate and education? Well, out of the 20 challenges, I have picked up 3 examples that to me resonate well with the concept of digital education. And this is given like one, for instance, to give you an example from the city of Stuttgart. The second is from Facebook, and the third one is from the Weltunga Health. And it's quite interesting because bring the educational, but also the technological and digital aspect. So the first challenge is about on how can we help citizens to track and compensate their energy consumption. Right? We see the typical counter that we have at home, but we don't reflect or can resonate what is our consumption. The second one, it relates to social media, and is on, yes, we see that social media could have quite some negative effects. We have seen this in the US election 4 years ago, and now in the recent campaign, we have seen this on the new generations, but we also believe that the social media could generate some positive outcomes. So the idea would be, how can we use social media in order to incentivize and make stronger social movements on sustainability? And the third one is actually quite interesting because there is this figure of the influencer that has come up in the last 2-3 years, which I personally would not know how to describe it exactly. But if you want to go for the simple description, is a person with a very large number of followers on his or her social media account. So then the question here would be, can we create sustainability and green social influencers? So those ambassadors that by the actions that they take can inspire others, let's say on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis. So basically those 3 challenges that we are tackling, I'm very, very curious to connect with the Climathon and see how is it going, how many teams are being formed, and what are the ideas that we come out with. So I will stop here. That's okay. I can see the main stage is also online, so I guess it's calling us back. Big thank you to all of you. Very glad to be part of this DigiEduHack, and very curious to contribute more.
Thank you, Jose, and thank you, Waldo, and also thank you, Kirsten. I think she had to leave to join another meeting. Thank you all for your very inspiring contributions to this session. I would also like to thank all participants for tuning in. And now I would like to hand back to Mitri. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Luise, and also to the other panelists. And I'm incredibly excited about the fact how diverse it is, just with the spot on sustainability and education. Thank you very much again.